of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
Good tidings, ladies and gentlemen of the Lodge, and welcome back. Today we are talking Kingdom Hearts, Eraqus, Brain, Bloodlines, and whether or not the fan base is jumping to conclusions. With the introduction of Bloodlines and Ancestry into the Kingdom Hearts series, it has left the fan base looking around this wide cast of characters and trying to see who it is they connect to in the days of Kingdom Hearts past. Perhaps the most popular connection of this nature would be between both Master Eraqus and Brain. Now allow me to make this clear. I am a believer that Brain and Eraqus are related and connected to the same bloodline. However, the evidence connecting the two is thin and inconclusive at best. The Kingdom Hearts community, myself included, sometimes have a really bad habit of jumping to conclusions. Take Xehanort being the player, for example. When all of us saw the Union Cross finale, and even though the implications were soft and it wasn't outright said to us, a lot of us just ran with the idea that Xehanort and the player might be connected in the sense that the two of them are either part of the same bloodline, or one is a reincarnation of the other. Of course, once Dark Road came out, and fleshed that story beat out further, we all saw that that wasn't the case. Xehanort being the player was something everybody just accepted as a given for a certain amount of time, only to find out that it wasn't true at the end of the day. So when I think about Brain and Eraqus belonging to the same family and bloodline, and I see how much of the fan base, myself included, have just accepted that as fact, it sounds all the alarms off in my head and makes me want to put this theory and idea under the microscope. So that is exactly what we are going to do here today, and again, allow me to just make it clear, I do believe Eraqus and Brain are part of the same bloodline. But what I want to point out in today's video is how thin and inconclusive the evidence pointing to that is, and then perhaps propose an alternative to who it is Eraqus' ancestor might be. So before we begin, let's just run over all the evidence the fanbase has brought up connecting Eraqus and Brain to one another. To start us off, let's talk about their appearance. When we put Brain and Eraqus side by side with one another, we can see they have a similar hair color, similar eye color, and overall just seem to have a similar appearance. However, just having the same hair and eye color doesn't necessarily mean that you're related. To put that in the context of my own life, my grandfather had a much darker skin tone than I did. He had a different eye color, different hair color, and his hair overall just grew differently. However, at the end of the day, he's still my grandfather despite all those differences. Using Eraqus and Brain's physical appearance to liken them to being part of the same family, again, would be thin-veiled evidence at best, especially when you consider how much time has passed between Union Cross and Birth by Sleep. And again, we have seen something like this play out very recently. When the Kingdom Hearts Missing Link trailer dropped and this character was revealed to us, this silver-haired, blue-eyed woman named Freya, I saw so many of us in the fanbase throwing their hands up in the air and going, "She's gotta be related to Ephemer! She has Ephemer's eyes! She has Ephemer's hair! They gotta be related!" But then we find out in an interview with Nomura that she isn't in fact connected or related to Ephemer in any way. The hair color and eye color was simply a coincidence. Bearing that in mind, while it's definitely worth bringing up that Eraqus and Brain have similar hair and eye colors, the fact of the matter is, Kingdom Hearts has shown us that that won't be the end-all be-all for how these characters relate to one another. Again, using this same logic, let's take a look at Remus. He has red hair and blue eyes. Does this mean he's related to Kairi and Axel? Oh wait, Kairi and Axel have red hair and blue eyes. Does this mean the two of them are related? You see how far this can keep going? At the end of the day, what I am just looking to disqualify here is that two characters having the same or similar hair and eye colors does not indicate that they are related. Allow me to be as clear as I can on this. I am not trying to dismiss this kind of evidence completely, just again trying to point out that it is thin and inconclusive at best. Now, let's move on to another piece of evidence that I often seen brought up. It was mentioned in Dark Road that Eraqus' grandfather went missing when fighting the darkness long ago. So keeping it in the context of it being Eraqus' grandfather, that allows us to eliminate Elrena, Skuld, and Strelitzia from being on the list of Eraqus' possible relatives. I don't think it's going to be Ventus. I think that would have been alluded to in Birth by Sleep. So that leaves us with Laurium, Brain, and Ephemer. Now again, with Laurium, we don't really have anything to connect to him, nor do I think that this would really work from a story perspective, but if Eraqus and Brain are indeed related, then it would end up stringing together a lot of the plot points between the no-name Keyblade and the Master's Defender. However, this is the point I am going to propose an alternative. It is also very possible that Ephemer could be Eraqus' ancestor. Now, I know everyone who harps on eye color and hair color must be pulling their own hair out, but just hear me out on this one. We know from this secret report that Eraqus is a blue blood, and that blue bloods are descendants of the very first masters in the Age of Fairy Tales. Both Brain and Ephemer are from the Age of Fairy Tales, so let's take it one step further. Call me crazy, but with Ephemer establishing Scala ad Caelum and being the statue of a Keyblade wielder at the center of the town square, why are we so easily believing that Brain is from this bloodline and not Ephemer, when it seems like the foundation of the Keyblade legacy in Scala ad Caelum would actually point more towards Ephemer than it does Brain? The legacy of the Keyblade, as it is understood now, connects far more to Ephemer than it does Brain. Again, the blue bloods are Scala ad Caelum's bloodline of Keyblade wielders. The fact of the matter is, by the time Brain gets to Scala ad Caelum, blue bloods and bloodlines seemingly are already a thing. And if Eraqus is a blue blood, then to me I think that's actually going to point him more towards Ephemer than it does Brain. Now, with that said, allow me to throw one more piece of evidence towards you that I think is going to really rock the boat when talking about Eraqus' lineage. Let's go back to Kingdom Hearts 3. If you recall the chess game between Eraqus and Xehanort, Eraqus uses his Light of the Past move just before the scene that Ephemer and the Union Cross wielders show up. So again, it would appear that Xehanort has him in checkmate, Eraqus summons the Light of the Past, the events play over in the Keyblade graveyard, only this time, Ephemer and the Union Cross wielders show up. And symbolically, this was initiated by Eraqus. So when we consider that blue bloods being the gifted wielders may have more to do with Ephemer than it does Brain, considering bloodlines are seemingly already a thing by the time Brain gets to Scala, and when we consider that Eraqus symbolically is the one to summon these Keyblade wielders, Ephemer most primarily, we have to start asking questions if perhaps Ephemer is Eraqus' ancestor and not Brain. For sure, with Brain, they have the looks, but honestly, other than the looks, that's really just about it. When they talk about Eraqus' grandfather fighting the darkness, that can go either way between Ephemer and Brain, but when you talk about the Blue Bloods and we see Eraqus' play in Kingdom Hearts 3, both of those are seemingly more connected to Ephemer than they are Brain. Again, I still think it's more likely that Brain and Eraqus are related, but I think to ignore the other option in Ephemer would be foolish on our part. At the end of the day, Kingdom Hearts does have a way of pulling the wool over the eyes of its own audience. With all of us so easily accepting that Eraqus and Brain are the ones who are related, they may have us right where they want us. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, sickos and normies, this is where you come in. Has this video moved you on this position in any way? Again, I'm not expecting anyone to walk away from this video thinking it's Ephemer, but are you like me and are starting to question things now that these things have been brought to light? Or are you 100% dead set on Brain being his ancestor? Again, I know myself, I'm more partial to Brain, but the more I think about it, the more possible Ephemer seems to be. But anyway, we're going to wrap it up there, sickos and normies. You all be good out there. You be good to yourselves and each other. And I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.
All of this was decided.
You really think you can change the future?
All of this was decided.
The truth is what you see with your eyes, not what you hear.
All of this was decided.
Why not just sit back and watch it play out?
All of this was decided.
May your heart be your guiding key.